Put down your baby and pick up a beer. Dad Jokes is back. I'm Jerry, joined here by Brandon, and we got another episode for you today. Brandon, what's going on?
Oh, just you and I are discussing an incredibly disappointing football game yesterday, Jerry.
Yeah, I don't want to discuss it too much more. We both have thoughts on that, but I'm going to let it go before my blood pressure gets high as we talk about our children. So we'll skip past that really quick.
Sounds good. I'm with you.
Yeah, no kidding. So, Brandon, today we got an interesting show on our hands. We're going to talk about baby apps and baby channels, like YouTube channels, that are important before the birth of your child. Ones that we both used and what we liked and why we liked them. And so that way, if you are expecting or maybe you're having an additional child, you can check these apps out, you can check these channels out and see if they're as helpful to you as they were to us. So I'm excited about that. We both have quite a few. We have a lot of similar ones because we've shared with each other, but we'll kind of play off that and talk about the pros and cons of each. So that's exciting, Brandon.
Yep, this is an episode I've been looking forward to. Between YouTube and the apps that we use, it took me from feeling completely overwhelmed and underprepared to a little less of both of those. So I still was feeling it about the time that you're at right now. But these avenues that we're going to discuss definitely helped me feel a little bit better about how prepared I was.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. But let's start with a dad joke as always. I'll kick it off. Brandon, I got a pretty good one, I think. So you ready?
I'm waiting with bated breath, Jerry.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. So, Brandon, what do you call a zombie who likes to cook stir fry?
Topical. Hibachi zombie.
Dead man walking. That one, I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. And topical, like you said. Just for those of you at home, we always release these a few weeks after we record. Today is Halloween, and so that is topical. I know in our last episode, Brandon, we went over baby costumes for newborns, so that was also a little bit topical. So I'm excited. What's Bryce going as for Halloween today?
Bryce, his dad, and his mom are going as giraffes. As you guys saw in the nursery tour, baby animals and giraffes specifically are a theme that we have. And so we got matching costumes across the board. So I have some giraffe, what you call them, horns or antlers? I don't know.
I think it's horns. I'm not really sure what it is.
I'll call it antlers. I'll call it things that stick out of their head. So you know there's a giraffe is what I have. So does his mom and so does Bryce.
Speaking of things that stick out of the heads, we had 5 deer in our backyard the other day, and they're just chilling. Yeah, no kidding. So they're just chilling in my backyard. But our last episode was on pets, and my dog Raja, as I talked about in that episode, you know, she's going crazy because she sees these deer outside, and she's got to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, Macy, what do I do? She's like, just let her out. She'll scare the deer away. It'll be fine. So I live kind of backed up to a bunch of woods, but it's kind of in the distance. It's not like right up on my backyard. So anyways, I put Raja on her lead. She chases after the deer, and the lead snaps. Next thing I know, it's the middle of the night. She's gone. I can't see her. I can't hear her. She's chasing these deer. God knows what's happening with these deer. And I'm like, what the heck? So I had to, yell at her. We're telling her to come. Nothing's happening. I go to grab a flashlight. Next thing I know, my wife very intelligently goes, Raja, you want to go to Grandma's house? And she comes sprinting back, and all was good in the world. But I was a little scared there for about 2 minutes because she went chasing after some deer. I don't think she caught them, but like I said, it's easy to get lost in those woods behind my house. So that was fun, Brandon.
Yeah, there's a lot of swamp and trees back there, and it doesn't happen often, but when your pet will randomly take off and you can't see him, it's a different kind of feeling.
Yeah, and my dog's fast, and I always knew she was fast, but I don't think I've ever seen her run that fast in my entire life. She was gone in like 0.1. I swear we should have timed her, or maybe we should enter into some contest or something, because she's stupid fast.
And what you always are wondering, like, what are you going to do when you get what you're chasing? Like,
no kidding, yeah. Like they say, dog chasing cars. What happens?
Yeah.
What if she got to a deer? That's what I was like, well, now what?
My dog is, unfortunately, Kelsey, turn this off, has had a bird before, and which they're bird dogs, and he got the bird in his mouth, and didn't do anything. Didn't like bite down. The bird. This bird was such an idiot too. The bird, like, I'm letting my dog out in my backyard, and I see the bird. It's like 20 yards up on the ground. So I thought the bird would do what a bird would do when it sees something coming and fly away. This bird just sat there the whole time. The dog, he ran out. I think he was shocked too. He ran out.
He didn't expect to get it.
He had it, put it in his mouth, let it go. It's just in there looking at him, and my wife's yelling at me, "Go get him! Go get him!" I'm just standing at the top of the stairs, just looking. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I froze. So don't use me in a crisis if you don't want your dog to eat a bird.
It's a good thing they're called retrievers, because I don't think they're meant to clamp down.
No,
so that's a good thing.
He did exactly what he's supposed to do. But
good job.
It was funny, and she was traumatized.
That's funny. So what else is going on in the Banks household? What do you guys got going on this past week?
So Bryce turned 2 months old this past week, which was obviously a big milestone. You alluded to it, but we've been gearing up for Halloween. Something my wife really loves, handing out candy to the kids, things like that. So I should say that I really love it too, but let's be honest, I don't really care. I shouldn't say that, but she loves it, so I love it. I'm with it. We're gonna pass the candy out, and the kids are cute when they come through. And I'm sure I didn't grow up like trick or treat or anything like that. So when we bought the house, it was my first time actually like participating in it, which was cool. So I don't have that like foundation of like looking forward to Halloween like that. So it's just something different for both of us. So I'm starting to get that, and I'm sure I will as Bryce gets older. We believe that he's going through his second leap right now. If you guys, and an app where we may or may not talk about today, it's for while you have a kid, is Wonder Weeks. But it kind of goes through different leaps the baby goes through. So he was cranky a few days this past week, but we talked about the Ollie swaddle in a previous episode, and we've been able to use that, but we're transitioning him out of swaddles because of how old he is and his ability to start rolling over. So in that transition, we got the magic Merlin sleep sack, and the first night we used that, I legitimately thought that something was wrong with him because he did not move and was asleep. Like, I had to wake him up to feed him like every 4 hours basically. Otherwise he was knocked out. He wasn't like stirring or anything like that. So, and it's been working well so far. So you'll probably hear us spending a lot of money to be able to sleep at night, because every episode we have something new that we're trying. The Ollie definitely worked and has been working, but by the time we got it, it was in that time frame where you start transitioning out of swaddles anyway. So
yeah, well, you mentioned phase to me the Merlin one, and it's already in my cart because I'm just anticipating needing it at some point. So
it's pretty slick. It works pretty well.
Well, that's pretty cool.
What about you,
yeah.
Jerry?
So we've had a pretty normal week. We had another doctor's appointment. They're every week now, so everything's good with the baby. Everything's good with Macy. Progressing along well. The baby's heart rate's dropped some, but that's normal, I guess. The weird part is Macy's heart rate was a little high. The baby's was lower than normal, but Macy's blood pressure was great, and they said that the baby's heart rate was in normal, so no worries there. Everything's going good. Like I said, we're at the point where we're having an appointment every week, so we're kind of in that waiting period, which is exciting, but it could happen at any moment, but it still doesn't seem totally real because until it happens, it doesn't happen. The good news is I think officially now we have 100% of everything we were waiting for. We got the extra base we were waiting for just in the mail yesterday and a couple other things. So I think we're 100% ready, or as ready as you can be, for everything that's come. So that's exciting. Halloween tonight. So Macy's going as a kangaroo. Raja's going as a llama. And I am going as Roy Kent from Ted Lasso for all the Ted Lasso fans out there. So, but yeah, Kangaroo's pretty clever, with the little Joey. He's got a little Joey right now. So that'll be exciting. We get a lot of kids in my neighborhood, which there's a decent amount of houses, but I don't know where they come from. We get so many kids, but it seems like it's a mad dash and then it kind of dies off, which isn't a bad thing because then you don't have to stick around for 4 or 5 hours. It's like an hour or two and then it's pretty much done.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of kids. My neighborhood's pretty big, and last year we had, I think, like 400 pieces of candy or something like that, and we were out before it was over.
Yeah, I think we have a little over 500, and I was a little bit nervous that we're going to be late, but I think we'll be all right. And if not, we'll be those people that turn the lights off and hide. So That's our backup plan. So Brandon, today, yeah, exactly. So today we're going to talk about apps. We're going to talk about YouTube channels, and I guess the first one we'll kick off with is one that you're a big fan of. I'll let you kind of do most of the talking, even though we both have used it, and that is Fathercraft.
So part of the reason that Jerry's saying that I'm a big fan of Fathercraft is because I actually purchased their like tutorial or class, on like being a dad, expecting a kid, and what to do before and after. But really the thing I love most about his channel is I relate to his sense of humor. He someone who you can tell definitely has done all the research, but doesn't take himself too seriously. And he's really funny to me. A couple quick hits on the channel. He has 17,000 subscribers on YouTube, which personally I feel like compared to some others on the list is pretty low. Compared to the quality that you get with his channel and some of the information that he provides. Some of his most popular uploads are best baby monitors. This was from 2019, best baby monitors 2020. So you're kind of sensing a theme there of what people are really into. One interesting one, it was a quick 1-minute video on the nose Frida, which I use and how it works. And he actually did a live demonstration with his son. And then our favorite topic, Jerry, the Nanit, is one of his other popular videos. He did a review on the Nanit Plus, which we have. But overall, he's definitely, in my opinion, the funniest person on my list for channels. And the person I probably relate to the most from a sense of humor perspective, and just concise with the reviews, and my go-to if I'm looking to review or look up a review for any baby products. And the website it has even more in-depth reviews than the actual YouTube channel. So I would start YouTube and then check out fathercraft.com.
Yeah, I like Fathercraft as well, and I've watched a lot of his videos, and even did some of the classes that you were kind enough to share with me. I don't know if we're supposed to say that, but the one that I probably like the most, that I probably use a little bit more than even Fathercraft, is Dadverb. Very similar. He has 114,000 subscribers on YouTube channel. He's got a website. He's got an Instagram. A lot of his videos are on reviews of baby products. And the reason why I like him is he's very down to earth and kind of realistic with his opinions. Like he'll tell you what he thinks, but he'll also tell you sometimes like, hey, this is what I like. It might be overkill. You might be able to go this option and be better for you. He doesn't try to push one thing or another. And again, even when he's kind of anti something, he'll tell you the pros or why some people might actually like it. He'll just tell you, in his opinion, why it didn't work for him or why he doesn't think it's necessary for his family. So he's a great follow. Does a lot of really in-depth videos. Will show you the product. Will use the product. And he uses a lot of different ones. It's not just one or two different strollers. He uses a lot of different strollers. And he's constantly on the new stuff. So not just the big names, but when something new comes out, he usually talks about it pretty quickly. So I'm a big fan of his. Like I said, especially his videos. He goes comparison videos too, where he's not just reviewing one. And he also has videos where he goes like top 10 most important baby products to have and like top 10 most unnecessary products to have. And he answers his subscribers and things of that nature too. So Brandon, I know you listen to him as well.
Yeah, he's, if I have a top two, it's Dad Verb and Fathercraft. As someone who spends, and a little inside joke with myself, Jerry, in our book club is that Jerry doesn't go on YouTube for anything. So the fact that he had a kid is what started this process from. He really didn't even know what YouTube was up until like 8 months ago or 9 months ago. But with Dad Verb, I see a lot of similarities from the tech reviewers that I watch on YouTube all the time. If I'm on YouTube, probably my favorite channels or ones I watch the most are unboxing of like iPhones and things like that. Excuse me. But the way that he structures his videos are very similar to like if you're watching like an iPhone review, a MacBook review. And I mean, it goes into how many people he has subscribed to him. This past year, he's surpassed the 100,000 subscriber plateau that you have on YouTube, which I believe you get a silver plaque for. It's kind of a milestone. So a lot of other people agree with what Jerry and I are saying as well. Some of his most popular videos are newborn must-have splurge list, which I watched and I felt a lot better about myself for as I was building out or helping with my wife build out our registry. Because he's almost helping you justify some of the extra money that you're spending, especially when you're going to hit a point if you're deciding between a big ticket item or another, that parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles will offer their opinion on how all they needed was a cup connected to a string connected to another cup, and that's how they listened to their baby from one room to the other, and their kid turned out all right.
In a cardboard box to sleep in.
Yeah, exactly. It was real easy. The kids were home.
Well, they were walking uphill both ways to the house in 10 feet of snow.
So some of it is a little confirmation bias. You're feeling better about the research you've done. A couple other videos he's done that are super popular in his top 5 best baby strollers of 2018. How to travel with a baby, which is something I watched that actually in preparation for this video because it's not something that had come up for me yet, but it's something that I was very interested in learning what his thoughts on that were, and it was very informative. And then his Baby Boy Smart Nursery Tour, which you'll see a lot of similarities if you watch that to both Jerry and I. So Dad Verb is definitely in the top 2 for me between him and Fathercraft of channels that impacted me during the pregnancy.
Yeah, probably the next one on the list, Brandon, at least for me, in terms of what I watched the most throughout the pregnancy, is our boy Ellie from Magic.
Yes. We didn't share our list. We really don't. And if you could see my notes right now, that's right there at number 3. I was hoping you said that next. Keep going.
Yes.
Sorry.
He's great. So basically, he works at a store in Boston.
He owns it.
He owns the store, correct, in Boston, and it's baby products, and he does reviews on, everything. So any stroller, any car seat, any tech, he does reviews. They're usually about 10 to 12 minute reviews. They're in depth, but not too much. And he's not selling, because he sells it all. To be honest with you, he sells all the products. So he's not trying to push you one way or another. He's just really trying to show you what the products have. He'll do comparison videos too and show you pros and cons, but he's very in depth, and he's good at demonstrating what he's going over. And you know what? He's just fun to watch, Brandon. I enjoy his videos. I probably watched, 20 to 30 of them, and every single time I watch one, I'm convinced, that he's right, or he knows what he's talking about. It's actually a big reason why we went with the Nuna Pippa and the Relax Base, because he is a huge fan of it, as am I, and he convinced me. He pushed me over the top.
And the first note I have here under Magic Beans Videos, which is the name of the YouTube channel, is Ellie is the man. And I think multiple times throughout this process, Jerry and I have sent a screenshot or sent a message to each other specifically talking about Ellie. And the other thing is, this is not related to just being a dad at all, but you'll catch some of his older videos, like the evolution of his hair.
Yes,
is something that I'm.
He's very distinct.
I'm like weirdly, yeah, it's great. Sometimes he'll have a ponytail, sometimes he'll have it slicked back. He has like a Cruella de Vil like white stripe
a
going
rogue
through
from X-Men. That's what I think
good
of.
Call.
Yes.
Ellie is great, and I don't have much more to add to that. Really, their YouTube channel is at almost 59,000 subscribers. So it's towards the top of the list that I have, and it's exactly what Jerry said. It's if I have a question about a specific product, specifically, and I just said specific like 3 times, so sorry for all you guys who are listening. But at least I caught myself.
We'll edit you out.
Yeah, good. If you're looking at strollers, car seats, those in particular, he will have comparison on pretty much all the top brands, and even not all the top brands because they're selling them. And you get comparisons between 2 that you might be debating between, which is very helpful. But he also would go in depth and show you how to use them and how easy they are. They have I know for car seats, they have an actual like standalone car chair that they have like in their facility that they show you how easy it is or not easy to install the seat. So it's something that definitely aided us in our decision to go with Team Upper Baby.
Yeah, and he well, actually, he's the reason too why on my Nuna that I found out that the like clasps have like magnets in them and they'll hook to the side because he showed in the video and I had no idea. So thanks Ellie for that. And then also one thing I didn't do and I don't think you did either, Brandon, but they do offer consultations to guests, so you can go on and request a consultation and then literally video chat with them and talk about what might be best for you based on your lifestyle and what you're looking for in either a stroller, car seat, or something of that nature, which is super cool. I didn't do it, but I think that'd be pretty awesome for people that are maybe on the fence or overwhelmed by it all. So again, Ellie's the man. Magic Beans, check them out if you haven't already. Brandon, what else you got on the list?
So I got a couple others. The next one I would say is, and they're less active lately. But I got here from when we were building out our registry, a lot of things that'll start popping up. YouTube will suggest videos, and it's the letter R, N, B, fam. And they're, weirdly enough, I didn't realize this until I started doing research for this. They're 2 R&B fam. So this is the one, that has 40,000 subscribers. But basically it's, more lifestyle based. It's a mother and father and their young son, and I feel like I can relate to him. The video that stuck out to me the most was here's a video. It's called "Being a Dad" or "Being a New Dad: Things No One Told You." That's their second most popular video on the channel. It's almost 30 minutes long, and he's kind of just going through it's almost like a therapy session for him. He's sitting on a bed. And he's just talking to the camera and he has a checklist in front of him, but it's going over things that maybe you're not expecting or you're not thinking about before. This is from the perspective of someone who has a newborn in the house at that time. And then throughout their channel started with them being pregnant. And it's a fairly new channel, so a year and a half old basically. And you follow their journey, similar to kind of what we're doing, through pregnancy, and then ultimately they have a year-old toddler or child at this point. So there's a lot of relatable things. They have the Upper Baby. They actually are the video I used and how to install it in the car, just to make sure I did everything the right way. For moms who may be listening. His wife, Bianca, has a video, which is the most popular video on their channel, Postpartum Care, Things No One Told You. And that's something that I watched that video because I wanted to be aware of what my wife may be going through and what I could potentially help her out with. But my wife watched the video, and it's something that she got a lot out of as well. So more lifestyle based now. Less product, but it's something where these all can't be product, in my opinion. You want to almost have someone else going through it. That might be why you guys are listening to this, and that's a reason I watch that channel.
Yeah, sometimes I would even, for products that I pretty much knew I wanted, but I would look up like more like just individuals that happen to do a review on a product. You know, they don't really have a channel. They're not really big into like the YouTube scene. They just were like, hey, I bought this. This is what I think of it. Because then it's more realistic. They don't have any like kind of ulterior motive.
Correct.
And sometimes that really helped. Like I watched one I know on our Demi-Grow stroller for this family, and you could tell it wasn't great quality, but like he was just showing like, hey, I'm taking my family to the mall. I'm going to take the stroller out. I'm going to show you how I put it together. He had 2 kids. This is how it works for us. This is how we take them out of it, put them back in. And you know what? I watched it and I was like, you know what? That's real life. That's actual application. And I see that it works. So that was like confirmation for me when I kind of had already decided on that. But to switch
some of the
gears,
best reviews are 20 subscribers and an iPhone and hitting the upload button, basically.
Yeah, and actually that's something that we haven't really talked about this, but it's something I think that we'll probably end up doing is maybe taking a couple videos of us installing either the bases or the car seats or showing you how our strollers work that we've been talking about and stuff, so you guys can kind of get a visual of what we're talking about. And like I said, see the actual application, not just us talking about it. So that's something to look forward to. And then, but to switch gears, Brandon, I think that to go to apps, not just channels, but to go into the app world, the first 2 apps that I downloaded when we found out we were pregnant, actually it might have been the day, or if not the day after, and I downloaded them both right by each other, is Daddy Up and Pro Daddy. Those are 2 apps that basically, I'll start with Daddy Up, but Daddy Up basically is an app that counts down to when your due date is, and it tells you week by week what you should expect, what's going on with your significant other, what's going on with the baby, what you should be doing at this point in time, little tips and tricks. And it's kind of simple, not too much information, and it's a nice little chart of what's going on. And then Pro Daddy is very similar, but it's got more links and more information where you can dive into. Like it's got like weekly tips, and it'll like link an article or link like some study or something like that. Both have been helpful. I check both of those weekly. It was more important to me, at least early on in the pregnancy, just knowing what was going on. Now, I mean, you kind of know at this point, and we're just expecting the baby. But early on, that was an app, both those apps that I went into probably, like I said, at least a few times a week. What about you, Brandon?
So I downloaded both of those. I used Pro Daddy the first day I bought it. Or not bought it, but first day I downloaded it, and then I didn't open it back up. It overlapped with some of the other apps that I had. Daddy Up was my basically 3 times a week app that I was going on, and really, the structure of the app kind of reminds me of you and your Carhartt a little bit. It's like trying to be like a rugged app, but it's like for the modern guy, never really goes outside.
I'll point out when we cut Christmas trees down, Brandon, we'll talk about who's more outdoorsy of the 2 of us.
But anyway, Daddy Up, there's a few things I really like about it. As you guys will probably know who are listening, and girls, women, excuse me, you have like apps and websites that use weird little things that like describe where you are in the process of pregnancy. So they might describe, hey, your baby's the size of like a goldfish or like a acorn, things like that. Daddy Up takes it to like an entirely new level. It's meant for like the outdoorsman. So the structure of the app basically is it's looking at like the pregnancy is like climbing a mountain, and you have 3 different stages. And then like as you get towards each week, each different stages, the different trimesters. So you have like the climb and the peak, things like that. And then like as your baby progresses, you have like weird things like, hey, your baby's the size of like a moose paw, or your baby's like the size of, I don't know, Bear Grylls' left
Brandon,
hand.
Not to cut you off here, but just according to Daddy Up, right now our baby is the size of a red fox's tail. So
exactly. That's
and
perfect.
The best one that I've ever seen though was actually on Babylist, which we'll go into maybe a little bit later. But they said that the baby was the size of a cat clock. I was like, who would think of that? And it was just so random. You know, like the little clocks that look like a cat. And so they do some weird ones. But yeah, to go continue about Daddy Up.
We could do an episode by itself of what these different apps and websites compare like babies to. Daddy Up has been my favorite so far because it's just these outside the box things that you still kind of can really visualize. But what I use this for really was they have a checklist feature that's customizable. And so they have basically what they suggest for each step or trimester, basically, of the climb up the mountain. But you can add your own things to it. So I use that as a baseline because, I mean, starting off, I had no idea what I should be doing. So this gave me an amazing baseline for, hey, this is what you should have done each step of the way. Some of the things it made me feel really good about because some of the things they had for like step 2 and 3 I had done during the first part of the process. Others I didn't. And it's just a visual way to check things off, and you can add your own list to it. They have a place in there to like add baby names and things like that as well if you're debating between the two, or a few, as Jerry probably is. Who knows?
Who knows?
He won't tell us. It's just overall the look and feel of the app. It's very easy to use. It was my favorite app to use while Kelsey was pregnant.
Yeah, it's been great, and I use the checklist feature as well. But an app I've been using the most lately is actually the Tiny Hood app. I've mentioned it a few times. They offer a number of different classes, as far as parenting classes, newborn classes, labor classes, and so we have like a post-birth class, which goes through everything such as diapers, CPR, sleeping, bathing, nail trimming. I mean, lots of different things. And the class was very affordable. I think it was like $40. And there's tons of videos. There's short videos. And the app's really nice because the app walks you through exactly each video, which you can click on. You can see what you already viewed, what you haven't. And it has a ton of little printouts or little like checklists and little like diagrams of what they're talking about. And I mean like a lot, like 50 to 75 of these things for this one class. And so I've been watching those at night, trying to prepare for not only obviously the birth, but when the baby actually gets home. And those have helped because like I was watching ones on bathing yesterday, Brandon, and again, I've never given a newborn a bath, and it seems pretty self-explanatory, but there's certain things that you should do or shouldn't do, and it just walks you through those. So it's been a good app. It's really easy to use, and it's nice because you can watch them, you know, when you got a free minute here or there on your phone. And again, most of the videos are like 2 to 3 minutes. There's lots of them, but they're short, so you don't have to take a lot of time. So that's been a big app for me the last few weeks.
One thing along that same vein, and I haven't actually downloaded that app. This one's a little less expensive. If it sounds like what you just mentioned is a great option and probably more in depth than what I'm about to mention, but they are very similar. And it's quick tips for new dads. This is probably the second or third most used app for me. When I started, as you guys have heard throughout this process, I was extremely nervous. I never changed a diaper. I never bathed a baby, kind of like you just mentioned, Jerry. And so I didn't know how to do these things. And, YouTube videos are one thing, but having that kind of in your pocket in a pinch in case your wife isn't there, which is kind of a segue. I'm not going to get there. You feel like this sense of security. Your wife may or may not have done it either, but for whatever reason, you just feel like they may, she just knows how to do it. My wife did have experience, but this app, very similar to what Jerry just mentioned, has a quick tips section, which will go over a ton of different topics from like bottle feeding, crying, bath times, to a how-to section that comes with like you basically just click, like I'm looking at one right now, is cleaning the umbilical stump, which is something that you probably don't think about a ton until you actually are in it. and it runs you through the process that you need to go through in a step by step, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type scenario. Washing your baby, as Jerry mentioned, is one of those. Mentioned with his previous app. Bathing your baby. Making a bottle of formula if you're doing that, or bottle feeding your newborn baby with pumped milk. So that's one to check out. It's just a ton of different categories that you can take a look at to help you before the process to get ready for it, and during the process while you're in it.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And those little, like you said, like quick tips are huge, because I'm sure when you're in that moment and you need something, you don't want to watch a whole video.
That's literally the name.
So yeah, quick tips is great. A couple other apps just really quickly. I won't go into too much detail, but one, having Reddit as an app on your phone is great, because there's different threads and you can kind of find out what you want to be a part of. But there is a lot of good information out there on different Reddit threads that you might join for, dads going through it for the first time, or dads with the same birth month as you. Different little things like that. So that's a good app to have. And then also Baby List, which is where we did our registry on. It's not only good to find baby products and stuff, but it also has a lot of different articles and information. I actually go on there a decent amount, and it's pretty good. But it's also, like I said, it's a good place to have a registry like we did, and you can kind of see where different items that you want are, because it doesn't just show you stuff that they sell, but shows you like Walmart, Target, Amazon, different locations, and then you can kind of have it all housed in that one app. So Baby List and Reddit are a couple other apps that I've used. Brandon, what about you? Anything else?
I would second that emotion on Reddit. You have a lot of, basically a community based on what month your baby boy or baby girl is born in, and that's a community that you can see what people are going through in real time and compare it to what you're going through. It's also, you can go on there and ask questions. And what I'm referring to when I say it's community, Jerry mentioned it, but you have specific Reddit threads for like the birth month of your baby, or when you're expecting. But that also continues after the baby is born. The other thing is Instagram, but I have a specific page that helped my wife and myself. Is Carrie Locker, KARRIE_LOCHER. We use this to basically help build our registry. But my wife also bought her class, and I took a lot of that class with her as well. She's a nurse, a pediatric nurse, I believe. I could have that wrong.
Big fan of those.
And I'm sorry?
Said I'm a big fan of those.
Yeah,
pediatric
exactly.
nerds. I married one.
Exactly. And she just, step by step, but both for you and your significant other, her Instagram has tip after tip, and then if you like what you see there, she does offer a class that I would highly recommend.
Yeah, and lastly, Brandon, one app that I have that I've not used yet, but I'm excited to use, is Contraction Timer. So it basically times contractions and lets you know like how long they are, how far apart they are, and then obviously tells you, hey, this is typically when you need to start heading to the hospital. So you can do this the old way, pen and paper, but all these apps that I've mentioned, by the way, are free with the exception of Tinyhood, because I paid for the class. It's a free app, but it's another way to keep log of what's going on, because you should keep track of contractions while you're going through the process of pre-labor at home in the early stages of labor. So it's an app that I researched, and it says good. It's not going to be too in-depth. All you got to do is, time the contractions. But rather than make a mistake on pen and paper or forget, it's an app. So I'm excited to use that one. We haven't had to use it yet, though, Brandon.
That's a good thing, Jerry, at this point.
Yeah, it is, but we're getting close. So those are just some apps and some channels that Brandon and I either have used or are currently using through the pregnancy process. If you have any good ones that you've stumbled upon, please share them with us. Let people know, and we'd love to mention them or check them out ourselves. Also, if you haven't checked these out, please do. Like I said, they are pretty great resources, and there's a lot of them out there, which we're pretty blessed with nowadays because, 10, 15 years ago even, there was a lot less resources. So great apps, great channels, great information. But now, Brandon, is the time of the show where you get to try to beat me with a dad joke, which sadly I don't think you've done too often, but we'll see how today goes.
You may be up so far, but we have a lot more episodes to go. And this joke was specific for you. I hope the audience takes this as or is as funny to me or to them as it is to me. I just stumbled through that whole thing. But one of Jerry's favorite entrepreneurs is the founder, owner, CEO of Tesla, potentially the world, Elon Musk. And Jerry, I hope Elon Musk never gets involved in a scandal. You know why?
Why?
Because Elongate would be really drawn out.
Nice. I like it. We all know how much I love Elon. We won't go too much into that, but yeah. Elongate. It's a nice play on words and topical.
Elongate would be really drawn out, Jerry.
What did they just say? He's going to be the first trillionaire or something crazy like that? I don't know. Elon Musk.
I think Jeff Bezos will have something to say about that before it's
all
said and done.
He might. Let's just say that you and I aren't on that list yet. So if you guys want to help us get on that list, please support dad jokes. Like that segue, Brandon, that's a true salesman right there.
Oh, that was pretty good.
So please, but seriously, like us, follow us on Instagram, tell your friends about us. That's the best thing you can do. Comment on stuff, text Brandon or myself. We just want to, like I said, be a resource to people out there going through the same things we're going through, and also just have you guys kind of be a part of what we're doing. We're excited about it. We want to share that with the world. So until next time, I'm Jerry here with Brandon, and you've been listening to Dad Jokes.